It don't go away.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Chris coming at you, man in the mirror. I'm going to call today a special edition conversation with my son. Since he's visiting me, I got to put him to work. So I'm just going to ask him a couple of questions. I'm going to ask that he be as honest as possible and not give me the answers that he thinks I want to hear, because I'm used to that. That's usually what he does. So, but just answer the questions as freely as possible, and we'll just vibe over that. So, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. By the way, it's my son Malik, and to all those who know him in the rap world as Leak, that's my son.
LeakNoStallin, the whole thing.
LeakNoStallin. Sorry, I don't know all that stuff, but whatever talent he may have, he got from me. All right. So, first question is, what do you realize today that you wish you understood before?
What I realized today, I wish I understood before. There's some things that you don't want to do, is you probably have to do for the better, even though you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like as of taking school seriously and all that other stuff that I didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If I went back, I would do it now.
You'd do it different now.
Yeah, I'd do it different.
You see a benefit in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I think. I'm asking you questions, obviously, from a father and son, but the answers aren't that different even as an adult. There's a bunch of things that, I wish I did differently. A lot of things would be easier for me today. Might even be happier if I had put in the effort early on. And one of those is school for me, too. I don't think I took school as seriously as I should have.
You had B's, though.
I had B's. I had B's in high school.
Yeah.
In college, I was a C student, and I was a C student because I didn't put no effort into it, right? I just did enough to get by. And now, even now, I'm back in school right now. Had I done it right the first time, I wouldn't be working as hard as I am today, because I've got to make up for the bad grades I got back then, right? So, all right. Table that one. All right. So, this can sometimes get a little personal.
Yeah.
I may answer myself. What's a fear of yours that you must overcome? You've deemed that it's something you probably have to get over. And I'm not talking about I'm scared of dogs or stuff like that. I mean, we all have some life physical fears, but there are some internal things about ourselves that kind of weigh on us. Like I know people, people who are scared to not have money.
Right.
So everything about what they do is I got to work because I can't live without money. And I'm not saying that's not a viable fear, but that same fear may hold them back from doing other things. So what's yours?
I think my biggest fear would probably have to be like wasting my time, like putting so much time into the music and then not getting where I want to get.
Right.
Sometimes I find myself doubting myself sometimes, but then the support that I get that helps with all that. But yeah, that would have to be my biggest fear.
So your biggest fear is, you're saying, putting all this time into it and finding out it was a waste of time in the end.
Yeah.
Okay, but now you also recognize that sometimes that's just life lesson, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it would be nice to think that everything we put our energy into, there was going to be some positive outcome on the end of it, but it's not always. And even though it doesn't turn out the way we want, there's a different positive outcome that comes as a result of doing things sometimes. So part of me asking that question is important for you, as certainly as my son, and those who are watching understand that it's just about living. It's just about doing, and you grow as you do. If you never become what you want to be in the rap game, I guarantee you're going to become a better man because of all the energy and focus you put into doing it. It's going to transfer to whatever the next thing is that you might have to get into, because now you know what it takes to be successful, right? Even though you may have not, and we're not speaking that you're not going to be successful, but I'm saying even though you may not have been successful in this, you're like, but I remember when ain't nobody know me.
Right.
Now I got people stopping me asking for autographs. Now people are waiting for my next, mix to drop or whatever, right? So you kind of, that's a life lesson. So don't look at those things as that's a failure. Because you read any book, you watch anybody who's famous, they'll tell you about all the failures that they had before they became.
That's what I'll be thinking about when I be down on myself sometimes.
Right.
It's just not gonna be easy.
It's just about pushing forward and understanding. As long as you push forward and you focus and positive about where you're going, doors are gonna open. They may not be the doors that you thought, but doors are they're gonna open. So that's kind of how you gotta push forward.
Right.
Who do you trust more than anything in the world?
My sister.
Your sister, okay.
Yeah, she's been there through everything.
Right.
And I'm always comfortable. Me and her talk about everything that I wouldn't talk about even with you.
Right.
And yeah, my sister always got my back. It's been like that since day one.
And obviously, as a parent, I'm happy to hear that. There's a lot of siblings don't have close relationships with one another, and you know me, I'm hard and big on family, right? Family first. At the end of the day, we're gonna always have friends. I remember both you and your sister swore to me, several people, oh, they're gonna be my best friend forever. They're gonna be my boy, or she gonna be my girl to the end. But the thing is, people change, right? People change. Your what you want in life changes, and you guys go in different directions. It don't make one or the other a better or worse person. It's just that you go in different directions. But family, in part because we can't choose our family, but because of that family connection, we should at least develop a system where we realize they're going to always have our back, we're going to always have their back. Sometimes even when we don't want it. Even when we don't want to have their back, but it's like, yeah, but that's my family. I could even think of sometimes with your cousins, Alex and Andy growing up, I used to get on them big time. Alex would tell you get on big time when he used to get on the bus and his little brother would get left at the school. And I get on him and be like, yo, man, why are you home and your brother's at the school? He's, well, he didn't get on the bus. It's like, we should have got on the bus until he got on the bus. Now, I tell that story because who's one of the main people in your family that if you pick up the phone, especially if you're in trouble, they're going to come handle that?
Siblings.
Right, and well, Alex too, right?
Yeah.
Alex across the board when it comes to family. But when he was young, he didn't understand that. But now, I know I ain't ever got to worry about Alex, but any member of our family, if they got in trouble, Alex is going to be there. Sometimes a little too much. I don't want him there that much, but I know he got his family's back, and that's something you got to develop going forward. And don't get me wrong, because just like me, as going forward, you will get to a point where your closest friends will become like that family, right? But it takes a while before you realize whether somebody got your back to that degree where they deserve that label of family, right? Mm-hmm. But I am glad to hear that about your sister. Not that I didn't know that already. Tell me, what's your idea of happiness? I mean, what does happiness look like to you? And I ask this question because I know as an older person, a lot of times you ask kids that, you get a lot of different answers. Now, I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm not sure. So what does happiness look like to you?
Happiness to me is everybody in my family healthy. Mm-hmm. I'm living comfortably. I don't have to be living the best to be happy, but I'm living comfortably. That's about it. Everybody healthy. I'm living comfortably, and I'm happy.
What about your personal life?
My personal life.
I mean, is happiness a different girl of the week? Is happiness a showpiece wife? Is happiness 5 kids in a house? What is happiness?
I mean, happiness. Happiness is family. I don't really care about nothing else. Mm-hmm. You know, I like hanging with my friends who I consider family. I don't have that much friends, but the people I do hang with, I consider them family too. So, if my friends good, family good, I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
So as long as everybody is healthy and happy, you're good, and we're living comfortably. Yeah. I can sign off on that too. How do you describe yourself? If someone to say, describe yourself to me, yeah, this is always a tricky question with you, but how do you describe yourself?
How do I describe myself? I personally think I'm the greatest.
Okay. Yeah, I was expecting that.
I'm pretty funny. I'm loyal. You can always count on me to be loyal. I'm not one of them janky type dudes. Mm-hmm. The greatest again.
So you're very confident in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
would you consider yourself cocky?
Cocky? No, because I don't really think I'm better than anybody. I just think I'm great. Like because I'm great. I'm not saying you're not great, but I believe I'm great.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not really cocky. I'm just confident.
All right. So now, in that same conversation, if I ask other people to describe you, what do you think they would say?
Same thing. I mean, I'm pretty much the same. I hope they say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I act the same way. They tell you I'm confident too.
Right.
Because, you know, I'm always talking smack.
Right.
And they tell you I'm loyal. I ain't never switched up. I got the same friends from when I was in, like, first grade.
Mm-hmm.
So they should say the same thing.
Okay.
If you ask the right people.
Right. Well, there's always going to be people who say different things about us, right? But we find out a lot of times those people are the people who don't really know us, right? They just make these blanket statements because of what they think we are versus what they know us to be. So, how do you feel about girls?
Girls, right now, it's nothing serious.
Uh-huh.
You know, I like girls. I don't keep them very long. But, you know, because at this age, you know, they some evil creatures. They be on a whole different type of stuff. So I'm not really serious about girls right now.
You're not serious.
Nah.
Like them, but you're not serious.
Yeah.
Would you say you respect them?
I respect the ones who respect themselves.
Okay, so now what does that mean?
That means, you know, I hate to say it, but it's what young people call, you know, fast girls, they call them thoughts. There's some thoughts out here. Okay. And then there's some girls that's not thoughts. You know, the girls with thoughts, I might be ignoring them, telling them stop talking. I'm like, but yeah, I treat them like thoughts, and I treat the good girls like good girls.
So now, no, and I understand this, but is it possible that a girl who carries herself as a thought isn't really a thought?
Yeah, some girls go through phases. I think. Because, you know, you still got to live your life. And, yeah.
So is it possible that you might be treating somebody who's not really a thought as a thought, even though she's just she could be part of a crew.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Right, and she wants to act on it. Right.
Yeah, I actually done that a couple times.
Right.
And I regretted it. But, hey.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So, and that's kind of why I posed the question, because I think especially at your age and younger, it ain't just, you know, females, but guys too are trying to find themselves, right? Trying to find themselves within the circles. You get with a certain circle, you feel like you have to act a certain way in order for you to be part of that circle. So sometimes being at the wrong place at the wrong time, meaning you hook up with the wrong crew of people, you find yourself doing and acting certain ways that really aren't you, right? Mm-hmm. So now why that's important for me to ask you as a father to a son, because you could find yourself in a situation, or you could treat somebody in a situation that's undeserving, and then, I mean, look, we got people who are depressed, we got people who do things to themselves because some guy said the wrong thing or did the wrong thing to them, and the reality is that was never them to begin with. But now we're like passing rumors about the person, you know, because they act a certain way or they're dressed a certain way, but they feel they had to dress that way because they're part of a certain crew, and all the girls in that crew dress that way.
I think, you know, it's like some girls ain't always used to attention, and you know how you be ugly in middle school, get to high school, and you cute, so you get all this attention, so you talking to guy. Right. That's why I think it's just phases sometimes. Some girls are just like that.
No, and some women are too. I mean, there's, you know, at the end of the day, not everybody has the same level of respect that they should have for themselves, right? And quite frankly, in fairness, some of those people who act that way, they act that way because ain't nobody ever taught them they should have that level of respect for each other. Whether it is, I mean, say what it is, we got moms who are acting a certain way in front of their kids, and it's all right for their daughter or son to act a certain way at 12, 13 years old because that's what they saw mom do all day long, right? Pops ain't around to say, where you going wearing that? Where you going with that boy? All that stuff. So for them, that's normal behavior because ain't nobody pumped the brakes on that, right? So all I'm saying is you got to have, or you should have, a certain level of sensitivity. Trust me, I ain't acting like I ain't treat certain girls like that myself when I was younger. But I did try to see past the superficial with a lot of girls. So there's some people, even though they may have acted a certain way, if you pay attention, you can tell some people, it's like, see, those three, those are straight up thoughts. She's just trying to perpetrate like she's a thought. She ain't. That's not who she is. So you got to do a better job of doing that, because at the end of the day, you never want to feel responsible for somebody feeling a certain way or doing something to themselves because of the way you treated them. Because you're going to find, and you're in that age bracket, I remember it well, girls tend to be very emotional, and they will, in their mind, they already know they're going to marry you, and you ain't but 17, 18 years old, and they already know you're the one who's going to have their 4 kids, you're going to live in a big house and stuff like that. So you got to be careful with that sometimes. All right. So now, I guess this is really just a piggyback off of what I'm saying in terms of how you treat them. And I really do mean when I say be careful how you treat these women, these girls. Because the question I would ask you, at the worst level, when you treat these girls this way, when you treat them the way that you do, however that is, how would you feel if a dude treats your mom or your sister that way? Would that be acceptable?
Heck no.
Right. So, if you keep playing that in your head, there's something that says, I'm not telling you to treat her with full respect, like, oh, you're a goddess. She has no respect for herself. I'm not telling you that you have to go out your way. I am telling you that it's unnecessary to treat them badly. If you're not messing with them, you're not messing with them. You move on. But you don't have to go out your way to treat them in a certain way, even if they deserve that.
Right.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, let the next guy do that. I'm not going to be the one to do that, because I'm not going to be the guy who you say I messed up because of Chris, or I messed up because of Malik. That's not me. I saw you. You ain't me. I'm moving on. Right. So just.
I wouldn't say I'm disrespectful with it though, but if you like somebody and they not liking you and they just curving you, it comes off as mean and stuff. That's really what I mean. I'm not disrespectful.
Right.
I wouldn't say I am.
You're just not giving them time. You're just not really giving them attention.
I don't take them serious or nothing like that.
And that's fair. Again, because if somebody is not taking themselves serious and not presenting themselves in a certain way, it's kind of hard to give them that level of respect, the same level of respect that you would give somebody who does do that, right? Yeah. What's your favorite memory in life?
My favorite memory?
And that, I know that's kind of, it's funny because when people ask me, what's your favorite movie? I say, you can't ask me what my favorite, you got to ask me what's my favorite comedy, what's my favorite horror, what's my favorite suspense, but I'm going to let you determine what your favorite memory is. It could be rap, it could be memory, it could be whatever.
Favorite memory? I think when I dropped my first tape, just because I didn't know I was gonna get that much love for how I did, and everybody was tweeting me. I was getting stopped in public, and I just I was feeling like the man. Right. And yeah, that was a good feeling. Right.
Accomplishment.
Yeah.
Right. And more than that, people, especially when you're talking about anything that's artistic. I think you and I had this conversation too. When you talk about anything artistic, it's personal, right? When you put something artistic out, that's a part of you that you're putting out. So it could either be hell or it could be heaven, because how people receive it. Because it's kind of hard to not receive it as they're not accepting me, or they have fully accepted me. It's like when everybody says, "Yo, that joint was the bomb," then all of a sudden it's like, "All right, you're saying you accept me."
And this was I wasn't never into rapping before this, so these songs was the first songs I ever made. So I was scared when I dropped it. Right. And then when I seen they like it, I felt good about that.
Good. Yeah, that was it. All right. And so this probably is the same question. When were you the most proud of yourself? Is that the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same time.
Okay. Definitely. What do you think is the most difficult aspect of being a parent?
Difficult aspect of being a parent.
I mean, from your eyes, what do you see now? Having known the challenges you and your sister have delivered, I mean, and it doesn't even have to be challenges. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of aspects of being a parent. There's financial aspects. There's social aspects. There's emotional aspects. There's a lot of moving parts. But I ask that because I'm always curious as to, because I know it's not even something kids think about. But when you put some thought to it, what do you see? Because one day you're going to be a parent, 9 times out of 10, right? You're going to be a parent. So in your limited understanding right now, what do you see as being the most challenging part of being a parent?
I think dealing with them disobeying you, because you know your kid's gonna disobey you, and it's not that they like when I do stuff that y'all tell me not to do. It's not that I don't hear y'all. It's just sometimes I want to try stuff myself. I want to learn it myself. So I go out there and experience it on myself, and then just see if you was right or wrong.
Right.
And as a parent, I know that probably what I'm trying to say. It puts some fear in your heart because you don't know if your kid's gonna listen to what you're saying. So you think they going out in the real world and gonna do something stupid.
Right.
That's probably scary. I don't know how y'all feel, but it would scare me.
I think for most parents, the first fear or most challenging part is keeping your kids safe. Yeah. Right? That goes without saying. Every parent in the world, the minute you decide to pick up car keys and drive, the minute you go out with your friends and maybe there's one or two friends in there that we really don't like because we think they're troublemakers, even the minute you're playing on the football field, something that's dangerous, and in any given play something can happen. There's a lot of things. So I think that would probably be level one, of fear, because it's always about keeping you safe. The next levels are going to vary from parent to parent and I think a lot of that has to do with whatever that parent's upbringing is. So one parent may be financial, right? It may be our ability to give you what it is that you need, and more times than not, what you want. And part of that is because we may have come back from a background where we didn't get those things. And we know how we felt, and we want that for our children, right? So you take a kid who's from a poor background, then it's probably a good reason. And people will judge those people because they say, oh, they spending all this money on Jordans, or they spend, and I'm one of those people, right? Because that person doesn't have education and stuff like that, but I get it. I get it because they're saying, I grew up wishing I had those things, and now I got kids, I'm not going to let them have that same feeling. So while I understand why they want that, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's better ways for them to use their money. But at the end of the day, their kid, their house, their rules, right? Yeah. I have my own rules inside my house. My thing, for me personally, and I don't think it's that far removed from your mother, but I think there are some nuances that are different. My thing is, I want my kids to be happy all the time. And I say that because we live in a world where depression is real, and it's especially real for kids. There's a lot of crap. We look at the TV. There's a lot of crap and heavy stuff that kids have to carry around, right? Never mind, it's hard enough being a teenager, trying to fit into your own circle and stuff like that. So I want my kids to be happy. I want them to be productive citizens. And selfishly, I like when people come up to me and say, you got good kids, right? It is a reflection on parenting. When your kids act a certain way and other people recognize it and say, you know what, I know that kid. I know that kid's parents. I know he or she is only going to go so far, right? Which is why sometimes we jump in you guys when you guys go outside of that box, right? Because it is, whether kids know it or not, it is to a certain degree a reflection, because you want not to make your kids robots, but you want them to be their own people. But even being your own people, you have to work within a parameter, right? Yeah. Going too far outside that parameter will get you in trouble, and it speaks volume to not only who you are, but potentially to where you come from, right? Because you are acting in such a way. You go up and you walk down the street, you start. I remember when you first got here to New York, what did you tell me the very first time you rode the train by yourself about people on the train?
That they was just letting like elderly just stand up and stuff, and
which shocked me coming from you. But when you say that to me, that says to me that me and your mother raised you right, because you're right. I see it every day. You got grown men. You said there's grown men sitting down. They wouldn't even get up to let women sit down, even elderly women, right? Which is crazy. But it says that something has been put inside of you to even recognize it. Because I would tell you, the average, not all, but the average teenager in New York, at least growing up in the city. Now, don't get me wrong. You weren't brought up in the city, so you have a different kind of sensitivity to that. And those kids have a different sensitivity to other things that you wouldn't. But because everybody runs up and down in trains, it's like, well, I ain't getting up every single time somebody get on the train. But you recognize that. So that's part of what I mean when I say there's certain things that are put inside you. So I want both my kids to be respectful, to be productive people who are leaders. And as far as I'm concerned, to date, both of you are, right? Not followers, Because followers, you already know my pitch on followers. Followers, it's a dangerous situation. You will get yourself in trouble when you just follow people. So being able to be your own person, which means sometimes walking away from stuff, being able to recognize when something is not right and be able to step up, even when you're around your own circle, be like, oh yeah, what are you doing? That's the kind of people that I want you guys to be. And that, from a parenting standpoint, those are things that are important. Everything else will take care of itself. Money and all that stuff, I believe if you put enough confidence in your kids, they will eventually find a way to make money, right? They will eventually find ways to become productive. But when we start talking about just the ethical type of things, when you start talking about being good people and certainly staying healthy, for me, those are my biggest worries. What do you think the average teenager worries about today?
The average teenager.
I mean, what flows through their head? What are some of the things that they worry about and concerns them?
Probably how other teenagers would think about them.
Right.
You know, I don't though, but that's why everybody wants to get designer and all this, the new shoes out, because they want to go out and everybody think they got all the money and stuff.
Right.
When really they got all the cool fit on, no money in their pocket or nothing like that. That's
and what good is it?
Yeah, that's because they care about what people think.
Right.
That's a good amount of teenagers too.
And is that a dangerous place to be?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because you start trying to please everybody else, and you just gonna find yourself in a messed up position.
Right.
You got all the stuff, but nothing to show for it. You just
it's wasted energy too, right?
Yeah.
You're putting all your energy into stuff that means nothing to appease people who mean nothing to you, right? They don't care about you. They can care about, okay, right after they say, yo, are those the new Jordans? Those are tight. And then 10 minutes later, they ain't going to remember you again. They don't even care about you anymore. If anything, maybe one of them is plotting to get those sneakers from you.
I think that's a confidence thing, though. It's people who don't have, like me, I ask anybody in my school, I come to school in some sweatpants, New Balance, and a T-shirt.
Right.
You know, I don't care because I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't need none of that stuff. I don't care about it here. I never care about Jordans or none of that.
Right.
Because, you know, in my mind, I'm already cool.
Right.
But to them, they not cool unless they got that stuff. And that's confidence. So.
It's a shield, right? It's a uniform that they have to put on in order to be deemed cool, right? To be so when I was in college, some people take offense to this. So you already know I'm an alpha. I'm in a fraternity.
Yeah.
So when me and your sister's godfather went to Towson, we already knew we were going to be alphas. It wasn't necessarily the coolest thing or the coolest chapter on the yard. So it shocked a lot of people that we were doing that, going with that organization. But you're pledging an organization and not just the chapter on your school, right? So it's a national organization. It surprises how many people would join organizations because they need that rep from the organization. They need to be able to do step shows. They need to be able to wear paraphernalia all the time. Now, I'm not saying this of frat brothers and stuff like that directly, but some people, that becomes their identity. That becomes their identity. Now, don't get me wrong. I think most people just love their organization, so they do that. But there's some people, I mean, they won't even go to church without their letters on, right? You know, they just always have to have it on. People need to know. I've stood next to guys who their opening line to girls is, you know, I'm an alpha. Which to me is one of the, I don't know, because that ain't me. You know, that's like one of the weakest things. But what it does do is say that becomes your identity. You had to join an organization to become an identity versus you have your own identity. And, oh, by the way, I'm part of this organization. Right. Now, I don't wear a lot of paraphernalia just because I don't like signage. You know, so I don't wear a lot of signage, period, whether it's Nike or Jordan, I don't wear a lot of signage, period. That's just me. I'm not knocking anybody who does it. But I'm just saying, if you get to a point where you have to have that to tag yourself or to give yourself some level of confirmation, there's something missing, you know, and that's probably the confidence that you're talking about. Like you, I never felt I needed it. I was never worried about what organization I was joining and whether or not they were cool. because I'm cool. I'm gonna change that, right? So now other people may not feel that way. Don't make a difference. I don't care what other people may say. I'm the corniest dude in the world. That's all right. For the people that I have in my circle, I'm cool enough,
Right.
And that's all I need, right? So I totally agree with you.
Next that.
Okay.
Next that.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We just ran through these bad boys, didn't we? Okay. I guess I did right. Well, we just running right through this stuff. So, all right. So let's just do a wrap up. So, I know I asked you about who you trusted the most. Let me ask you this: have there been people who you trusted and you found out that was a mistake?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I lost probably this past recent year. It was a situation where something happened, and within all of us, like we were all friends at one point,
Yeah.
and something happened, and then all these people start changing on me. Didn't even ask for the story, and I'm like, yeah. And then after that, I just stick with the people I've been with since day one. Them people was people I trusted, and I just met when I got to Bowie High School or something. Yeah, so that's why I don't really rock with people. New friends, I'll make new friends, like, but we won't be hanging out. Like, we won't be hanging out on an everyday basis, like that.
So
I won't let you in my mom's house.
Right.
Yeah, but
That actually is a very powerful lesson if you learn the lesson from it. What did you learn from that happening?
don't put trust in don't put trust in people when they really ain't really earned the trust. Because I just trusted these people because they was
Just part of your crew.
we was friends.
Right.
And so they didn't really earn the trust. I trusted them too far.
And you hit it right on the head. So at the end of the day, there are different levels in our lives. We have what I call friends. And if you're going to use the friend, that means this is basically ride or die.
Yeah.
When I say it's my friend, I mean he called me in the middle of the night, I'm there, right? We have acquaintances, which is the larger body of what we deal with, but we call them friends. But they're really acquaintances, meaning people we say what's up to, I know dude, stuff like that. See him in public, cool, we cool and stuff. And then you got just everybody else, right? So being able to put those people in the proper boxes is really important, right? You give everybody a certain amount of room, right? But like you said, you just can't just give people full access to you, right? Not unless they've deserved it. I don't know if I've had the conversation with you. I have similar conversation about women, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning the people who you're going to consider to be your girl, or that's my woman. She can't just get that.
Right. Yeah,
there's got to be some work, and she's going to feel the same way about you. Now I know sometimes girls are just wide open and just like, oh yeah, I love him more than anything. I'll do anything. Here's all the money in my account. Here's all that, and you ain't even done nothing yet, right? But people. I've said many times, you really only know people. You really only know people when stuff goes wrong.
Yeah.
When stuff is all good, we all party. It's all, pass the whatever, do this, do that. It's all beautiful. But you really, really only know the core of people when stuff goes wrong. So even with my friends, when they start dating girls and they're like, I'm all in love, I'm all this, I'm all that. One of the first questions I ask is, have y'all had any major thing go on? Has anything happened? What do you mean? I mean, anything go on in her life, anything go on in your life? Nah, everything's been good. I said, then you don't know her.
Right.
You don't know her then. I mean, it may sound cold, but my thing is, you're putting all this love in her, and then maybe you marry her. And then the first time you lose your job, she's like,
everything switch up.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know her yet. You don't even know her. And it doesn't even have to be just you. You can watch how she acts or he acts with other people when stuff go down.
That's what I do too, because know how if I got this one friend that I don't really be messing with him because he always beefing with a friend,
right?
Or like one of his other friends.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, I can't rock with somebody.
Lightning doesn't strike twice or three times in the same. When you see somebody constantly, I think like you just said, people make the mistake because it ain't happened to them. They see with other people. It's like, oh no, it's only a matter of time before it comes around your way. If you see them acting, this is supposed to be her girl, or this is supposed to be his boy. And he act like that all the time. It's like, that's not a good look.
He gonna do it to me.
It's only a matter of time. It's just like right now, we cool. Yeah. But what happens when he gets jealous? What happens when he don't like what I got? What happens when the girl he likes me? Then all of a sudden stuff starts changing around. So you're on point with that. It's just a matter of making sure. I don't want to say making sure people earn it, but I'm just saying give it some time before you give them full access to your inner everything, right? Because sometimes we can give that up too much.
Yeah, and it puts you in some trouble too.
It puts you in trouble, if nothing more, emotionally. Because when we do that, it hurts when you think somebody has got your back. It's like, I thought that was my boy. I thought that was my boy. And then this one little thing happens. He don't even call me, ask me what's up, and he just believes what everybody's saying. See, somebody's really your friend's going to pick up the phone and say, yo, man, what the hell, what's going on? All right, let me explain myself. And then we can have a conversation. If it's so quick for you to go to the next person and listen to what they say, even though we're the ones who are tight, are we really tight? Are we really tight? Same thing with your girl. If she's so quick to listen, now, don't get me wrong, you can do your dirt, and she may I heard from Sandrika that you was over at the movie theater with such and such. I'm not saying she ain't got no right to ask you about it, but hopefully she don't just pick up the phone and say, we're done, without having a conversation and doing her own investigative work. Because she don't know that Sandrika might be trying to get at you and just trying to throw a whole monkey wrench in it. So people got to think about that. Anyway, I don't want to go forever because we could. I got a whole bunch of questions, but I thought this was good. I learned a lot about his mindset. Some things I knew, especially the confidence part. But we may do another one going forward.
I can interview next time.
Yeah, he may interview me. I don't know if I'm cool with that, but we'll figure that one out later. Anyway, folks, that's all our time. Again, Man in the Mirror, Chris, Malik, we're out. One love.
So when it's done, you get to watch it over? Do they get to watch it over?
Oh, shit.
Or you got to catch it on the